yesterday, the Detroit Pistons played the Milwaukee Bucks. It was for the NBA Cup, and fans everywhere have been laughing this NBA Cup, laughing at it, cracking jokes on it, the fake cup, blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah blah. I got into it with
I
somebody on
understand.
Twitter. I understand too. But I did get into it with somebody on Twitter who said that this cup. Well, after the game, people were talking about the game, and this guy said, well, y'all tripping. This is a meaningless cup, or no, this is a meaningless tournament. These games count the same towards the record as any other game. Blah 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 blah. And while he is true, these games count the same as any other. Uh, the fact that the Pistons had an opportunity to play for something substantial, play for something substantial, whether it be in the beginning of the season or not, said a lot because the Pistons have been so bad for so long that this was actually the first time, because the playoffs, I don't see the playoffs in the Pistons' future anytime soon. That's a whole another discussion. But the Pistons went out there and they got blown out by the Milwaukee Bucks. I wish we did do the pod yesterday because I would have gave them a slight chance of winning, but in my heart of hearts, I knew they were going to get blown out simply because they already played the Milwaukee Bucks and the Bucks were missing Bobby Portis, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton still didn't play, but still they were missing Bobby Portis and Damian Lillard, which is that's like 50, that's like 40 to 50 points right there. And they lost to the Bucks in overtime. Giannis dropped 60. I mean, if there was ever a
Damn.
time for you to beat if there's ever a time for you to beat the Bucks, it was that game, and you didn't do it. So with Damian Lillard and Bobby Portis back, I didn't think there was going to be much of a chance, and there wasn't. Giannis came out; he was 10 for 11 from the field. Damian Lillard was hitting threes. The whole team was hitting threes. Everybody was hitting threes. It was a blowout. So all that being said, I didn't. I I wanted to come on here preseason and hype up the Pistons because I felt like the Pistons wouldn't be as bad as they were last year. And that's not saying much at all. So I didn't really make a big deal about it. I felt like they would be a respectable team. They would still be at the bottom of the East. And that's exactly where they are right now. But unfortunately, after watching that game and listening to people talk about it, it's kind of brought me full circle to where it's brought me full circle, and even involving your point of that the NBA is probably in the worst place that it's ever been in the history of the NBA as far as excitement or watchability. It's in a bad place, and in addition to it being in a bad place, the Pistons are in a bad place. Which none of these are revelations by any feat. But my thing is the full circle has brought me back to I need the Pistons to make a choice between Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Because while Jaden Ivey has shown flashes this year, and he's had a lot of good games, and I like Jaden Ivey, and Cade Cunningham has showed improvement, and he's his offense definitely his offense is definitely taking a step this year. He is a very he's very good at creating his own shot. All those things are true. But there's honestly, in my opinion, there's no reason to have both of those guys on the team because they both need the ball in their hands. I'm going full circle because they both need the ball in their hands. They both can make a shot off ball, but that's not their strength. Their strength is having the ball in their hands. And whether it's Ivy with his speed, moving the ball up court, and on the flip side, you got Cade, who's the complete opposite. Cade likes to slow everything down and be methodical about handling the ball. So if you just pick a direction, because this team is not going anywhere, they're really not going anywhere. And I know Trajan Lane that just got here, and he's got a lot of stuff that I'm sure he's going to do, and a lot of stuff that he's thinking about doing. But Jaden Ivey the return that you would get on Jaden Ivey is his stock right now is pretty high. And Cade Cunningham, vice versa. His stock is even higher right now. So, depending on which direction you go, you could build a team around that. But trying to build a team around both of these guys, they've been doing well on the court together. They've gone on record on saying that they want to play together and they want to be a fantastic backcourt in the NBA, which is good and all, but if you go that route of trying to make these two work together, I feel like you're fighting an uphill battle, and it would just be so much easier to break these guys up.
So, I mean, okay, I understand that they got blown out. The fact that they were in the first game against the Bucks was surprising to me. Um, but all I've heard all season is how much better the Pistons are than they expected to be. They've already won more games this year than they have last year. Um, they expected, they could win up to at least 35 games, which isn't a lot, but you know what I'm saying. They could expect, win up to like 35 games, maybe even a few more. The way they're playing, they just got our Thompson back, and the fact that they were even playing for the cup at all, um, everybody was telling me that those were good things. So, um, so they kind of caught me off surprise that you think that they're no better than they. I mean, I'm not gonna say you saying they're no better than they were last year, but it surprises me that you still think that they're at the bottom of the league. But and what I would like to ask you is, because I'm an Ivy guy, if they were to go that route that you're talking about, who would you rather hold on to, K or Ivy?
Oh man, that's a good question. Um, I can I can be swayed either way. If I'm in charge of the Pistons, I think the safest bet easily would be to stay with Cade. If you want to be safe, and if you want to be safe, especially if you're trying to keep your job and you got to make this gamble, then the safest thing you could do is stay with Cade. Because if you stay with Cade, I think for Ivy you could get at least a first round draft pick. That's minimum. You get a first round draft pick for Ivy, and then see with Cade, the style that he plays. I hate the style that he plays, but the new NBA crowd love it, and that's the new future of the NBA is this style that he plays. This methodical bogs ball, the ball just bogs down in his hands, and he just lets everything move around him. I hate it, but it is what it is. Now, if you're gonna play that style, everybody points to Luka Doncic. So if you go over to Luka Doncic and look at his model, Luka Doncic is surrounded by athletic bigs similar to Jalen Duren. But for whatever reason, and Jalen Duren is starting to get a little bit better. He played great last night. He just got into foul trouble against Giannis, which is obviously something that's going to happen. But at the same time, Dallas has 3-point shooting bigs as well. So the Dallas Mavericks have guys that could catch alley oops. They got bigs that can shoot the three, and they got bigs that can play defense, get blocks. And that's Duran struggles with a lot of those things. He struggles with getting blocks. He can't shoot the three. He's great at catching the alley oop, but but and Isaiah Stewart, same thing. Isaiah Stewart is great at defense. He's getting better at blocks, but he's not. Like I don't see either of these guys being elite defensively. Stewart is just a great body. Like he's just a great hustle defender. He's a great, like if you brought him off the bench, he would be great off the bench. But we need a starter. And Duran, as great as he is, that's where it comes in where I would package Duran and Ivy, and I would try to get a first round pick. Or well, if I package them, I'm gonna need more than a first round pick. But if I package them really, I need a star. I need a star for those two guys. And I need somebody who's better than Cade, because watching that game last night, it just kind of drove home to me that if Cade Cunningham is Scottie Pippen, when Michael Jordan left the Bulls, and it was Scottie's show. Scottie held it down, but he wasn't like exciting. He wasn't, like he wasn't like, oh yeah, this is Scottie Pippen's team.
Right,
But no, but he was still an all-star, you know what I mean? Like, he was
right, right,
still a
right.
great player, but it was never like his team. And watching Cade Cunningham, that's the vibe that I get. Like, and part of that is Cade's fault, because Cade he's not that type of like take over, I'm the best player on the court type of guy. And it really showed last night, because when Milwaukee came out there was nobody on the Pistons team that gave off of that gave that sense to me that, hey, y'all not about to come in here and win this game. Cade Cunningham kind of was like, hey guys, let's do it. And when it started getting bad, it was like it just got bad. Like we need a guy that's gonna take over the game. And I don't think Cade Cunningham is that type of personality. So if I go with Cade, it's to make Cade a Scottie Pippen, and I'm gonna go out and find my Michael Jordan.